kept complaining that man was just watching him. He just told me the man looked creepy.
Mr. Martin told you he was leaving the mailing area where he was at. Mr. Martin told you he was going to try to lose the man?
Yeah, when I started walking home, he told me he's almost there. So as he was walking, he just complained the man still following him. And then he told me he gonna run from the back. I told him, you better run. And he had told me he almost by his daddy fiance house.
You heard a bump?
Yeah, a bump.
And what did you assume that was?
The headset. And then I was calling Trayvon. And then I started hearing a little bit of Trayvon saying, get off, get off.
A lot of people talking about Rachel Jeantel's credibility. So the bold question, is Rachel right? Let's take a look at the evidence, shall we? Manny Politan over at the HLNTV.com evidence room.
Thanks, Ryan. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the big question is Rachel right? Well, let's take a listen to Rachel uncensored. And she described in court, to a certain extent, that last phone call she had with Trayvon Martin. But tonight, she filled in some of the gaps when I talked to her on the Nancy Grace Show. Now, that walk, I've been in that neighborhood. That walk doesn't take 4 minutes. So I'm wondering, from your perspective, listening on the other end, does he give any indication on where he's going? Does he give any indication on how he's trying to get away and what he's going to do to try to get away?
He told me he was going to do a shortcut. I don't know where the shortcut might have been, so to lose George, so I don't know. I heard about a shortcut.
So, and this is, I'm trying to get the nature of what exactly is happening at this point, because I don't think we've got the clearest picture from the way you were questioned in court. So he's trying to get back home, and you've talked about the rapist, and he's worried to a certain extent. He wants to take the shortcut. Does the conversation only focus now on the man who's following him, or does the conversation go to another place where you guys talk about things that you would just talk about normally?
No. The man who's following Trayvon, that was our talk, because the man was acting suspicious, looked like it's going to confront Trayvon or something.
Give us the tone that Trayvon Martin responded when you talked about and said, you know, this might be a rapist following you.
He took it seriously and jokingly a little bit, and he was just shocked that really might be a rapist. I might be telling the truth that might be a rapist. You could sound of his voice, it looked like he was getting kind of worried. So he started walking back to his father's fiance house.
Now, when you say he's worried, is he worried that he's in danger? Is he getting himself into a place where he's talking about, I may have to fight for my life here? Did anything like that come up in the conversation?
No. Trayvon did not know who was that person. No. That's called ridiculous.
All right, I also asked Rachel about who first contacted her, and it's not who you may think. Take a listen.
First person was Trayvon's father, Tracy Martin. From my sense, that's not really ridiculous how station officers who had Trayvon's phone could have called me or look at the last number like a real officer do more detective work to figure out who was the last person really happened.
And this is really a tricky issue, Ryan, because the first person to contact her aren't investigators. They don't find her. It's Trayvon's father, Tracy Martin, who's the first one to contact the state's most important witness.